Okay, well, welcome to our class. Using InfoSparks and FastStats as your to become the market expert. Basically, I am your host today, and I'm also joined by my co-host Leo Loera. My name is Anthony. I work here at Orange County Realtors. Been here now for close to 20 years. Started off in the MLS department, so I'm guaranteed that I will speak to everybody regarding rules, regulations, violations, all that fun stuff. What I'm also involved with is our outreach program. Our outreach program is designed to give you training on all your tools and products. So today what we're going to do is we're going to touch on a product called InfoSparks. Now, real quickly, what is awesome? Thanks, Tina. What is InfoSparks? Well, InfoSparks is your free member benefit. What InfoSparks and FastStats is a CRMLS and OC Realtors member benefit that provides you as an agent MLS statistical data. Okay. InfoSparks and FastStats uses only MLS data, so there's no other data being used to come up with their stats. So this is 100% pure information that you can use to talk about for your real estate career, okay, to market to people. Now, this quick presentation of about 10 minutes, we're going to go through that, and then I'm going to show you how to access these two tools. Now, real quickly, how accurate are the public websites? I know most of us, if not all of us, have clients that go to these third-party websites, and they look at those third-party websites and say that that third-party website says my home's worth this, or home values are at that. And we have to ask ourselves and ask our clients how accurate that information is, because they are not very accurate. They may seem like it, but they're not necessarily. And when you look at that, or when you look at this information, they are totally transparent about that and how inaccurate their information is. You just have to find it. So as an example here, for active listing pricing in the Orange County area, to be within 20% of a list price, saying that the home should be valued at this to list it, 20%, they're about 99.5% accurate. Now let's think about that. To be within 20% of their estimated price, plus or minus. So that means 20% positive, 20% negative, somewhere in between, they're there. So if that third-party website says, sorry about that, that your home's worth $1 million plus or minus 20%, that's actually a $200,000 or $400,000 gap. Now, I don't know about anybody here, but I don't think anybody wants to play with a $400,000 value of their largest ever owned asset. So that's $200,000 positive, $200,000 negative, where they could be off that much. This is one of the many reasons why consumers need to listen to you, the professional. You have access to the most accurate information at all times. Because you have access to the MLS, you actually know what people are actually listing their homes for. You know how fast they're getting into escrow based on their list prices. And of course, you know exactly what buyers are willing to pay for a home. Now, granted, this all falls down to a CMA, but we've got a larger picture to think about. And this is where InfoSparks and FastStats and statistical information is going to help you, because you're going to be able to use this information to help elevate your online presence. By talking about this information, you're going to start increasing your credibility. You're going to have better client interactions. And of course, you're going to manage people's expectations, whether you're a buyer or a seller. Now, just to dive into this, how do you elevate your online presence, or even just elevate your presence as a real estate professional? Distribute the data. Transparency is availability. Hand this information out. Put it on your social media platforms. Put it on your website. Print it out. Hand it out at an open house. Hand it out door knocking. Put postcards together and mail it to your sphere of influences, the places that you're marketing. Because secret agents don't do a lot of business. If people don't know your don't know about information, and they obviously don't know that you're a real estate agent because you're not doing any marketing or very little marketing, then don't expect a lot of business to come your way. We've got to basically play the numbers and get this information out there to the world. Okay. We don't want them to be steered away from those public website portals and come to us, the professionals. Now, elevating your online presence is pretty simple. You can apply your personal branding and logos to these reports to express your involvement. So you can edit the PDF documents and apply your branding. So you can now indicate that it's your information. You're going to promote the property stats of the area. Now you have access to multiple different types of reports, but two reports that I definitely like from the FastStats portal is the local market update report. Now the local market update report is a lovely one-page report put together with all the stats put together. Now, if you're an agent that loves dealing with and diving into data, then you have another type of report under FastStats called the monthly indicator report. Now, the monthly indicator report is a deep dive, a 20-year deep dive, 15-page report into all the stats. Now, by the way, you can use this digitally or in print versions. So put these reports on your website, social media, hand them out at an open house, do whatever. Okay. Now, real quickly, in handing out this information, you're going to increase your credibility. Okay. You're going to want to position yourself as the market expert by including stats in all of your marketing materials, whether it's online or print. Now, in doing that, you need to make sure that you get yourself familiar with a stat. Now, when I say a stat, you don't have to know all the stats. Just know at least one or two to make yourself the market expert. If you are handing out information, make sure that you are familiar with that information, because when you're asked about it, this is how you interpret the data. Now, the use of that empirical data will help complement your experience as a professional with your current clients and, of course, potential clients. And something that I want to definitely also include in that, other agents, your colleagues. Okay, because if you start to talk about information and that information shows to be reliable, you now become that source of that data and people begin to trust you. Now, we will give you this information. You just interpret it however you see fit. Now, what I mean by that, everybody will look at these numbers differently. Some of you here today will see positive. Some of you will see negative. It all comes down to you, the individual. Okay. Each and every one of you has a niche market that you like to market it to. Because of that niche market, you have to market to them in a particular certain way to attract them, to entice them to want to do business with you. Now, when it comes to statistical data, how many of you are intimidated by talking about stats? Just a quick show of hands. Oh, I see Pred. Anybody else? Ali, Melinda. Okay. Trust me, you do not need to be intimidated. And if you're intimidated, this is why you're not talking about the data. We want you to talk about the data. Just what you see is how you feel the market is going. This is what's going to make you that market expert. And again, you don't have to know every stat, just maybe one or two. Now, part of that is being able to answer those questions, right? Stats are going to help you, or these stats are going to help you ask all these popular questions like, is it a buyer's or seller's market? Well, you're going to look at the stat like month supply of inventory. How do property types compare, like attached versus detached? Are prices going up or down? Well, that's the median sales price. How long will it take to sell my home as a seller? Days on market. How much of my asking price am I going to get? You're going to look at the percentage of list price being received. And of course, when for a buyer, when do I have the most options as a buyer to purchase? You're going to look at the inventory. Now, just out of curiosity, how many of you have all been asked at least one, if not all of these questions by clients lately? There we go. Mark, Serena, excellent. I should see everybody's hands, right? Well, this is how you help answer those questions by looking at these numbers. Okay. Now, managing our expectations is huge, right? Because your client interactions, you're going to be able to manage the expectations using these various metrics like days on market, median sales price, percentage of original list price being received, the inventory, right? You're going to impress these clients at your listing appointments or pretty soon your buyer appointments with these market realities. A lot of times the newspaper, the news, they're off by, they're behind by 3 to 6 months of the current market. A buyer or a seller hears what's on the news, they're getting old information. This is why they need to come to you, the professional, because again, you have access to this updated data. You're going to impress them at these appointments with the market realities. And you're going to be able to provide people with the necessary information to be educated and to give them the power to make a data-driven decision. No longer should people be worried or make these decisions based on pure emotion, right? Which ultimately is going to enhance and benefit you by enhancing your negotiating skills, not only with your current clients, your potential clients, but even with other agents. How many of you have felt that because the agent knew the market better than you, that they negotiated a better deal for their client versus your client? Or maybe because some of you know the market, did you feel that you knew the market better than the other agent, which now you felt like you were able to take advantage of that and negotiate a better deal for your client? Anybody? One person? Two? Excellent. Now, by the way, with stats, you're going to be able to connect with those analytical personalities. I know everybody here has a client that just loves looking at numbers, loves looking at charts and graphs. This is a great tool for those types of clients. Now, this is also a great tool to help guide those emotional decision makers, right? The numbers don't lie. This is what the numbers say. This is what we need to do to manage that expectation, which ultimately benefits you by reducing not only your client's anxiety, but also yours. I know everybody attending today takes on your client's emotions. I know most of you probably have woken up or have had a restless night's sleep because you were worried about maybe, why didn't my client have multiple offers on their home? Why didn't my client's offer get accepted? Right? Doesn't that ruin your sleep? Of course. But if you know the numbers, like, geez, Mr. and Mrs. Client, it's going to take you 14, 15 days to get into escrow in the current market. It's not like it was back in January, February, where you were in escrow by day 2. Things have changed. Here are those numbers, right? Now, all of a sudden, you've relieved them of worry. Let's see here. We have a real quick question. So how do we get access to utilize this? We're going to go over that here in just a second, Tina. Now, real quickly, I want to ask, anybody know the difference between a seller's market, buyer's market, and a balanced market? Ali, excellent. What's the difference? Anybody? It all comes down to basic economics 101, supply and demand. Okay. Doesn't matter what it is. Real estate's the same way. When it comes to a seller's market in real estate, this is basically when you have very low inventory, but a lot of demand for that inventory, whereby properties are coming on and off the market at such a quick pace that the inventory just can't meet that demand. All right, or the supply can't meet the demand, which ultimately results in not just days on market being very quick necessarily, but more importantly, home prices start to skyrocket, start to peak. Now, in the country, a seller's market is when there is more or less than 5 months worth of inventory in an MLS system. Now, you may or may not know this, but Orange County is kind of the microclimate or the center of all real estate for the rest of the nation. Usually things that happen here first, and then it filters out to everybody else across the nation, normally. Now, in Orange County, a seller's market is when you have less than 3 months worth of inventory. Now, a buyer's market is when you have more inventory or more supply than meets the demand, whereby not enough demand takes off a lot of inventory quickly, and you're getting more and more homes added, which now results mostly in these sharp drops in pricing, these deep valleys. Now, in the nation, a buyer's market is when, or is considered more than 6 months worth of inventory in an MLS. In Orange County, because again, we're that center, it's more than 4 months worth of inventory on the MLS. Now, balanced market is when you have enough supply that meets enough demand that homes are coming on and off the market at a steady rate or a steady pace, whereby you don't get the sharp peaks or the deep valleys of pricing. Instead, what you will be getting is hopefully a steady incline or appreciation of home values. Ideally, every real estate agent wants a very well balanced market because things are predictable, stable, and you can plan for things better. Now, across the nation, a balanced market is considered between 5 to 6 months worth of supply of inventory. In Orange County, this is between 3 and 4 months. Now, funny enough, we're going to be able to look at individual cities, MLS areas that we're marketing in to see if those areas may be a seller's market, buyer's market, or a balanced market. Because that's the beautiful thing about the areas that we market. One city could be a seller's market right now, and another city could be a buyer's market, and another city could be actually balanced. It's just where we're marketing and how we market that information to our clients or potential clients. Okay. All right. I want you to be able to support your recommendations, compare the local numbers to the regional numbers. So basically what I mean by that is you have a CMA that compares that home and other homes like it in the immediate neighborhood. But then you can now, with these stats, compare that home with other homes in the MLS area that that home resides in versus the city that that home resides in, and of course the county. Now, this is also going to help you dive deeper into your niche markets. So you're going to display and emphasize the stats that you want to emphasize to your target market. And ultimately, you're going to answer those emotional price points of forecasting, because honestly, you're going to be able to show trends of what's predictable or what can be predictable in the market by looking at things going back 5, 10, and in some cases 20 years. Because honestly, the trend is your friend. Now, your personal marketing, you versus the market averages. Maybe Abby does a campaign or maybe puts in her listing presentation to a seller. Hey, based on my track record, my listings get into escrow within 6 days of listing the home because I know how to list it. Whereas everybody else in the area, like in the city or in the MLS area, their average days on market are 14 to 15 days. Now, all of a sudden, a seller may look at Abby a little bit differently. Wow, that's great. I'd like to get into escrow quick and maybe even get multiple offers. Or maybe, we could, do something else. My home prices get this versus everybody else. Now, I want you to be innovative with the stats. Okay. Now, being innovative means that you're going to make your own content in a lot of cases. Like for those of you doing social media marketing, this is a great tool to come up with content either monthly or quarterly, right? Great thing to talk about in a video about your stats. So if you're doing video marketing, this is a great video to make. Now, by the way, know your stuff because it will show. One of the things that I encourage is make sure that you would know at least one of the stats that you're handing out. The last thing you want to do is hand out statistical data to somebody. They're going to look at it and they're going to ask you a question about it. And if your first answer is, I'm not sure what that means, that shoots your credibility in the foot. Nobody wants that, right? This is why we need to know, and don't be scared of talking about what it is that you know. So get familiar with the stuff that you're handing out. Now, by the way, as you're handing out this information, right, and you talk about it confidently, this is going to help create an influential reputation, not only face-to-face, but also online. If you're doing this online, people are going to go to your YouTube channel. People are going to go to your Facebook business page. People will go to your personal website because they want to see the updated information that you're talking about and not afraid to talk about, which ultimately you're going to strengthen your negotiating skills and power with potential clients, and again, with other agents, because if you know your market more so than even another agent, can you imagine what you can negotiate for your client with that agent? Pretty amazing. And then of course, you're going to own your segments in your local areas. Okay. All right. Are there any questions so far besides how do we access this information? No questions?
No questions at this time. Everybody's getting it. You're an excellent teacher. That's why, Anthony.
Excellent. So if anything, we can end today right now. But let me show you how to actually access this information. So very simply, what you're going to do is you're going to go and log into the MLS. Now you can access InfoSparks in one of two ways here from within the MLS. Number one, at the home screen under the external links widget here, you can come down below and where it says InfoSparks Market Statistics, you can click here. Or you can go to the very top and click on the links tab here at the very top. When you click on the links tab at the very top, this now opens up all your free member benefits offered to you by CRMLS. Scroll down on this entire list until you see where it says InfoSparks. When you see InfoSparks, you're going to click here. Now, when you click on InfoSparks, a nice window is going to open up. And we're going to immediately see some information. First thing that we're going to see here at the top left corner is that we're looking at the entire MLS database under all property types, attached and detached, all sides of the transaction, all bedrooms, bathrooms, all price ranges, this, that, and the other. And we're going to see here down below, and let me see if I can raise this a little bit for everybody to see, that the stat that we're looking at is the median sales price. And we see here that off to the right of the screen, that the median sales price in the entire MLS is $760,000 in the month of September of 2022, which is up 4.1% compared to a year ago. Now, I know everybody immediately has thought, wait a minute, Tony, that sounds really low, especially because I'm working in Irvine or Newport, and I know our median prices and our price ranges are way higher than that. That just seems really low for Orange County. Well, you're right, because we're not looking at just Orange County information. We are looking at the entire MLS. Now, the entire MLS is not just Orange County. It is Riverside, it is LA, it is San Bernardino, it is San Diego, it is Desert, it is Ventura, it is Fresno, it is East Bay. CRMLS has more than 200,000 listings in its MLS database, has more than 91,000 agents up and down California. Not all of California, but a good portion of it. So we need to narrow down this number or this range just a little bit. Now, how we narrow it down is very simple. We're going to come back over to the top left where it says entire MLS. We can click on this little down arrow, and now we can apply some extra filters. Like I want to put in county information, so I can look at county data or a specific county. I can put in zip code. I can put in a city. I can put in an MLS area of a city if I want. So say as an example, I want to look at Orange County. Simply select county. And now back at the top left, I'm going to type in Orange. Now for my list of counties that are Orange County or begins with orange, I'm now going to select Orange County. And we now see our number readjust. Now we see here in Orange County that the median sales price goes from 760 to now 953, up 5.9% compared to September of 2021. But that still seems really low. Why? Because we have under our filters underneath the county that we're looking at both attached properties and detached property data mixed together. So now maybe I'm working a neighborhood within Orange County that are mostly detached properties. Well, I want to look at detached numbers. So come over to one of your filters here, the attached detached, and click on detached. And now we get to see the median sales price in Orange County for detached homes in the month of September was 1.195, up 8.5% from a year ago. So now we look here on the line graph, we see that in the months of September, even though we are in the month of October, we're only looking at the previous month worth of data. Don't worry, each and every month. So in the month of November, which will be in the next couple of weeks, this chart will automatically update with October of 2022 data. So this is going to be a live update. Now, what we can do here on this line graph is that if I move my mouse over to this line graph, we get to see what September 2022 was or is. Then we can scroll right on through and see what the previous months were. To which 1.1 million as a median sales price of all of Orange County is not too bad. But back in April, it was at 1.35 million. So since April, we have dropped close to $200,000 in home values. But if we scroll through this line and go all the way back to September of 2021, we get to see that the median sales price in 2021 for detached properties in all of Orange County was 1.1, up 8% or 8.5%. If we had a client that bought, say, back in 2017 in September, they probably bought their home for around $797,000, give or take their area. So our clients buying in Orange County were paying about $797 for the median sales price. So between 2017, 5 years later, to 2022, they've gained what? Close to $400,000 or a little over $400,000 in equity. Not too bad, right? Are there any questions on that so far? Anybody excited about that?
Everyone's speechless.
Everyone's speechless. I see a couple of hands raised. That's good. Now, say we don't want, say we want to compare some other things here real quick. Now, I can compare counties to counties against each other. As an example, how I do that, I can come back over here to the top left, and next to Orange County, there's a button here that says add an area. From here, I can now click on the down arrow again, select county, and this time maybe to compare Riverside County. And in the detached market world here, we get to see how Riverside median sales price for detached properties is at $579 and Orange County is at 1.195. So for county information, maybe I market to clients, hey, if you were thinking about moving to a more affordable area, Orange County is at 1.1, but if you live in Riverside, which is maybe what, 45 minutes away, your median sales price is $579, almost half of what you would get in Orange County or pay in Orange County. Probably get more home, get some land, things like that. Now, we don't even have to compare county to county. We can actually compare county to city. Maybe I want to compare Orange County to, say, oh, I don't know, Laguna Beach. Here I can select city, type in Laguna Beach, select it. And again, the detached market. And now we've got some interesting information here. If you live in Orange County, your median sales price is at 1.195. But if you live in the city of Laguna Beach, your median sales price for a detached property is $3,075,000, up 6% from a year ago. We can compare up to 4 different things side by side together. Now, when I say things, we can go county to city, city to city, or city to MLS area, or we can just compare MLS areas, or we can just compare cities. So here we can type in all the necessary information. And let's go with Laguna Canyon as an example. And now we can compare those things side by side. Not too bad. Any questions on how to compare multiple areas against each other? By the way, Tina, is this good information for you? Maybe.
Tina did indicate that she thought this tool was awesome.
Awesome. I like that. Now, by the way, under the filters, like as an example here, we've got Fountain Valley, the city, we've got it detached, but now maybe I want a further breakdown of this data for the median sales price. By the way, we're only looking at median sales price. Remember I was saying all you need to know is one stat? Here you go. Real quickly, I see a couple of people here in the Q&A section. I'm looking forward to show this to my client's listing. I think the list price, I think the listed price for her property kind of left me hanging there. Okay. Mark, nope, you're a great teacher. Great info. Thanks, Mark. Thanks. That was helpful. You're welcome. And then Tina, yes, I would like to use this tool for one of my listings. Excellent. Well, I'm glad. Let's see here. Pre-doc. Chat is disabled. Can you email this report in the PDF to a client? Let's say the 2 areas, OC, the city. The answer to that, Pred, is yes, you can. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a moment. I just want to go over a couple of the other things here real quickly before we go over how to share that data. Is that okay? All right. So real quickly here, we've got Fountain Valley City. Okay. And we've got the detached selected, but now maybe I want to also look at how bedroom types compare. Now over here where it says number of bedrooms, what I can do is easily select one option at a time. But now maybe I want to compare bedroom types as a median sales price. How do I choose multiple choices here? Very easy. At the top of the filter, or the title of the filter, just off to the right, as in the example here, number of bedrooms, there's a 2-way arrow here. If I select the 2-way arrow, this now, this now should select all of the bedrooms choices under that filter. And now we get off to the right here, a side-by-side comparison. So we see here that in Fountain Valley City, there are no 1-bedrooms or 2-bedroom detached units, but there are 3 bedrooms, which the median sales price is $1,068,000, up 7.4%. 4 or more bedroom units that are detached are at 1.2 million, up 7.2%. But all bedrooms together combined, the median sales price is 1.1 or 1.19. So we have a nice little side-by-side comparison. We can deselect the ones that don't have their bedrooms for the detached market. And now we can just have a simple line graph looking at all three
Let me
choices
interrupt
here.
real quick, Anthony, if I
Yes,
could.
sir.
We have Tina who's asking. So I noticed you pulled up the information from InfoSparks from one of the properties in MLS.
Not from one of a property. I pulled it from county and MLS area and city so far.
Okay, thank you.
So if you're talking about one particular property, then you're going to go back into the MLS and create a CMA. So what you want to do there for one particular property is pull up the stats in and around that neighborhood. So that'll be your CMA that you do back here under a search. What you're doing here with InfoSparks is maybe going, well, you know what? Maybe I know that the home is in Turtle Rock in Irvine. So now what I can do is find the area of Turtle Rock and compare how this property in the CMA compares to everybody else in Turtle Rock. Maybe they're a bedroom property only. So now everybody else in the area of Turtle Rock is at 1.9, but your neighborhood might be 2.1. Does that help, Tina?
She says thank you, and that's a great explanation. That
Good.
really is.
So we can have a lot of fun adding these filters. Now, real quickly here, we're just looking at one stat, which is the median sales price. Here we can look at active inventory. So we see here in Turtle Rock, there's only one listing active in MLS, whereas prior to that, there are three. If we change that to, say, Irvine, California, we see here the active inventory in Irvine is 56 properties for sale, up 69, almost 70% compared to a year ago. So if we look here real quickly, just a mere month, it went from 75 down to 56. So we've actually lost inventory in Irvine versus September of last year, where there was 33 properties for sale. Back to 2018, 23. Our peak this year was 76. So we can see already that inventory is starting to drop here in Irvine. And of course, we might look at, well, geez, 1.3 million is the median sales price, even though prices have dropped a little bit. What's maintaining that is the active inventory, not as many properties up for sale. Why is that? We start having discussions. Just like we can see how many listings went into escrow. In this case, in Irvine, 25 properties went into escrow, a drop by almost 45%. Why? Well, maybe because the list prices are up or home prices values are up. So not as many people can afford getting into escrow. Here, 27 properties successfully closed escrow in Irvine, down 32%. So these are nice things or interesting things to talk about with clients to, again, manage expectations. Hey, if you're a buyer, just know not as many people are getting into escrow. Great. Inventory is still about 56 properties, which is down. So you're not going to have as many choices, but home values are up. We just got to make sure that you qualify to be able to make it to the finish line to close escrow.
And we have a question from Tina. She says,
Uh-huh.
so can I use InfoSpark to see the value of the property in the past year or like back in 2017, 2018? I'm seeing that
Not
you're doing that.
not a specific property,
Oh, okay.
but you can show what properties were valued at. So if you said 3-bedroom properties were valued at 1.3 in Irvine that were the detached, so that's the current median sales price value. And if I look back in the past, I can see what it was listed at or what their median sales prices were. Now, if you're talking about that specific property, then what I would probably do is do a tax record search to see what the previous sales history was, and then create another CMA and you can backdate. The only thing you can't backdate are actives, pendings, and active under contracts from those previous dates or the previous years. But at least you could look at closed properties for a year ago, 01/01/2021 dash 012/31/2021. Does that help, Tina?
She said not specific properties, but going
Not a
over.
specific property, but a generic home values in a particular area. Sure.
And
Does
you
that
can even
help?
change it from 5 years perhaps down to 3 years, I'm assuming.
Yes, you can change the time frame.
Okay.
Over here in the middle, we've got 5 years. You can go back 3 years. You can go back just 1 year. So a 1 year change for 3-bedroom properties that are detached in Irvine. So in 1 year's time frame, in this case, September to September. Heck, back in January of 2021, homes in Irvine were at 910 as a median sales price. So in just 1 year's time, you've increased your home value by, was that 400,000 in Irvine?
Wow. Sorry. That is mind blowing.
That is mind
400,000.
blowing. But
Yes.
again, you can look at active inventory, see how that, affected that, or how it's affecting pricing. Again, you can look at all these other stats. One of the other stat that we look at here, that month supply of inventory, we see here in Irvine, we are at 1.7 months supply of inventory, up 112% a year ago. So we see in in September, we were at 0.8 months worth of supply of inventory. So are we in a seller's market or a buyer's market here in Irvine?
I'm going to guess seller's market.
Exactly. Remember, seller's market is what, less than 3 months worth of inventory,
Yes.
right? So here in Irvine, you got 1.7 months. But maybe in another city like, I don't know, Lake Forest, they
And
have,
and that would be right now to address that question to Tina. Yes, it'll be right
yes,
now.
right now. So here Irvine's got 1.7, Lake Forest has got 1.4. So Irvine's even got a higher seller's market just by a couple of months, but you can do that. Okay. Now, how do we get this information out to people? Well, we can share it. Now, if you're going to share information, like print it out, put it on your website, things like that, line graphs are good, but the problem that you will have is not everybody will see what these previous numbers mean. Okay. This is where I personally, before sharing anything, like to change it from a line graph to a bar graph. Now, what's nice about the bar graph is that we can give a 3-year difference in a bar graph. Now, what I like about that is that it shows this month of this year versus the same month of the previous year and the same month of the year before numbers. So if we were looking at that median sales price, we see that Lake Forest is 1,047,000, Irvine is at 1.3, but prior to that last year, Lake Forest was at 935, Irvine was at 1.1, and then the year before that, Irvine was at 850 and Lake Forest was at 769. So we not only get to see that 21% or 30% change from the year before, but over the past 3 years, it has vastly grown and changed. Again, 300,000, almost 400,000, 500,000 in home values in just a 3-year time period. Now, to get this information to people or to share it out, and let's see, Anonymous asks, That was for 3-bedroom homes only, correct? You can change it to all bedrooms to see how the entire market is doing. The answer to that is yes, you can. Just simply deselect all 3 bedrooms, and now you're defaulted back to the all. And now again, you get your numbers here automatically adjusted. And again, I could do that side by side bedroom comparison and get an even more detailed bar graph. So what you can do with this data and how you configure it is almost endless. Okay. Now, to get this information out, we're going to go over to the share button. Now, share is found between the filter and the charts. Just simply click on share, and we have several ways of sharing this information. Number one, we have a static report, meaning that this information is locked. Well, why would I lock it? Well, I'm going to print it out, or I'm going to create a social media or an email link or an email post. Here, if I click on share, I now get a link that I can copy and paste into my email or on my social media. And to see what that looks like, I could actually just hit view in new window. And now I see what the chart looks like. You'll notice that immediately it's got my branded information here at the very top of this chart or of this statistical data. This information is pulled from your roster in the MLS. So make sure that you go under add edit in the MLS system. And under input, go to where it says roster and input under quick modify your user ID for the MLS system. From here, when you click on edit, click on change contact information and make sure that your contact information in the MLS is up to date. You can even, on the prior screen, upload a photo of yourself. That way, when you're putting and getting ready to share out statistical data, it's automatically branded with your information. Now, another way that we can share this, besides having a static report and either creating a PDF document that we can download and print, or a social media or email post that we can input into an email or save the image as an email in our email drip campaign or newsletter, which, by the way, this is great for a newsletter if you're doing newsletters. But more importantly, anybody here with their own personal website, like Ali, AliRealtor.com or Ali the Great Real Estate Agent.com. Awesome. That was cool. You can email me how to get to edit the personal info. Oh, okay, we can do that. Great. Ali and Pred has got their own personal website. So I'm going to ask you guys this. On your personal website, do you have the following? You've got the about section or the about page, which you've talked about yourself, or maybe even done a video about who you are, introducing yourself to potential clients, right? And then maybe you have another page of listed properties that you can find on an IDX feed. Correct? But now you have to ask yourself, whether they're your featured properties or your IDX fed properties, what else does your website give? What makes you as an agent stand out amongst any other agent here today for your personal website? You're probably looking for things to stand out, correct? Let's see. I have a buy and sell that are tied to an IDX broker. Excellent. So that's great. So what you're going to do here is that you want to provide more information, right? Well, with InfoSparks, there is a choice here to create embedded links for your website. Now, you can have a static embedded link. All you need to do, hit share under that embedded link. And now you can copy and paste this into your website. Or if you have a website designer, you email them this link for them to input that chart or graph or multiple charts and graphs for your website. Now, the problem here is this. I've made it a static link. That means that I now have to go in each and every month into InfoSparks and create new links and then send them over to my web designer. Does anybody want to do that? The answer should be no. You want this information updated live time, correct? So you want automatically these charts and graphs to be automatically updated with the new information each and every month, correct? Correct. Well, this is where we're going to choose the choice live. So under step one, if we have a website that we want a chart graph on, we're going to now choose live, and we're now going to choose embed. We can make it interactive if we want, or we can just make the image available. And from here, we can now click on share. And now we have a live updated link of the data or of the chart. So now when we put that chart on our website, depending on what it is that we're displaying, even though it's displaying right now September's numbers, come November, it will automatically update with October's numbers. So this is what you would now do. So Ali, you had said that you have an IDX fed broker listings, this, that, and the other, correct? Well, now maybe you talk to your web designer and have a page that says that might be dedicated to Irvine. In Irvine, you have in the middle of the screen the listed properties that somebody can search for in an IDX feed. But then to the left and to the right of the properties, you're going to make your various different charts and graphs for Irvine. So Irvine, you might have new listing graph or active inventory graph versus the median sales price graph versus original list price being received graph with the days on market for that city. So now what are you now providing? You're providing information to people. You now are starting to become a source of information for people to look at and ask you about. Now you stand out from other agents that aren't putting this type of information on their websites because they're afraid to talk about data. They're like every other agent. They just put up properties that are up for sale or for lease. And that's pretty much it. But now, not only you doing that, but you're also doing more, which now not only does these potential clients find that data, but they now talk to other people and refer them to go to your website for this data. So would that be a landing page, Mark? It could be. It could be a landing page. So maybe on your personal website, you've got the About Me, you've got your featured properties, but then you might have a page dedicated to Irvine, dedicated to another page dedicated to, say, Newport Beach, another page dedicated to Fountain Valley, whereby now you have all these different charts and graphs. And maybe you blog about what, each and every month about what is going on in those areas that you are marketing to. Right? So you can have a lot of fun with that. Are there any questions on how to share this data? And again, each and every one of you are going to interpret this information a little bit differently based on who you're attracting to your business. Lee, are there any questions?
No, what a fantastic tool. I mean, just showing the differences in property values increasing for all bedrooms, going up nearly $700,000. It's just really mind-blowing, and it's really educational, and especially it's going to be help out future clients in the Turtle Rock area. Oh, here's a question from Pred. So if you pick the interactive, can the client change and play with the tools like we can?
I think they can to a certain degree. I think what the interactive is great for is the line graph, because what that'll allow them to do is move their mouse over the line graph to see what those previous numbers were for that chart.
Great.
but it would allow them to look at other stats. I would say, why do that? Just make, you know, make different charts. That way you can show things side by side on how their comparisons work, right? That's really great for active inventory versus sales price, because you can now show a direct correlation of properties that are currently available and how that's affecting the pricing in those areas. Is it going up? Is it going down? If inventory starts to increase, will that make the pricing decrease? Will that also mean that the percentage of original list price being received decrease as well? Days on market, more inventory. Does that mean that homes are on the market longer? Kind of amazing here. Lake Forest is now back up to 33 days on market, up 300% from a year ago. Pretty amazing. But great tools for buyers and sellers to need to know about, because now you can help sellers strategize on the best way to get them the most money for their properties in the current market. And of course, get buyers to understand where they need to start making their offers at. If homeowners are getting about 90% of their list price or 99% of their list price, but they're dropping their prices by 5% in Lake Forest, then maybe this, you've got some wiggle room as a buyer to offer a little bit less than asking. Or seller, let me make sure that we don't have to worry about a price drop and come in around fair market value to get you almost 100% of your asking.
Wow, that's an incredible tool. I unfortunately have to step away for another obligation, but this is a tool that's going to stick in my mind for a long time.
Okay.
InfoSparks.
But I should be able to end this course, correct, Leo?
I'm going to leave it on, so I will let you go ahead and roll with the punches for the remainder. I'm just glad that so many of you were able to join us, and Anthony will be able to answer your questions from this point forward, just like he's been doing so lately. Wow,
For
just
sure.
a great tool, but there'll be 2 other webinars later today if you can make it as well.
Definitely. And I see Tina here asks, will I have access to the video? The answer to that is yes. So we are recording live today. So if not today, later by tomorrow, I think you should receive a copy of today's recording over everything that we've gone over. Now, there is one last thing I definitely want to show you here, and that is the FastStats section. So next to where it says InfoSparks, we do have access to the FastStats. Now, the FastStats is great because what we can now do is look at California data based on their regions. In this case, we are in Southern California, specifically Orange County. And from here, we can actually now see, hopefully, a nice, lovely one-page report condensing all those stats that we were looking at for Orange County. Now, if you want something more specific to your cities and MLS areas, this is where we're going to need to go to Orange County Realtors' website. So www.ocrealtors.org. And from here, we're going to move our mouse to where it says resources. A drop-down menu appears, click on business tools. And from here, you're going to choose OC FastStats. Now, what OC FastStats allows you to do if you log in using your user ID and your password for Orange County Realtors' website. So the password that you use in order to log into our website to pay your bills or to register for a class. From here, what we can do is access the individual city statistics on a lovely one-page report, just like so. Or we can access the MLS areas within that city and their stats. Now, this is the local market update reports. The nice one-page report that you can now download. And if you have a PDF editor, apply your own personal branding to that PDF document. You can convert it to a picture file if you needed to, if you knew how to do file conversion, and then use a picture editor and then install or insert your logo information, your first point of contact data. Let's see, how did I get to this again? Very easy. I go to www.ocrealtors.org. So here, www.ocrealtors.org. From here, I'm going to move my mouse to where it says resources and a drop-down menu appears. I'm then going to scroll down and click on where it says business tools. And from here, I'm going to click on the little tile that says OC FastStats. Now from here, I'm now going to click on login here and input my username and password for Orange County Realtors' website. Typically, that should be your user ID for the MLS and then your 4-digit PIN number that you use for your e-key. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Mark. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's okay, Ali. Everybody was muted, so nobody could talk. Now, I had also mentioned that there's a highly detailed report called the monthly indicator report. And what that does for the county is give you a fully 15-page detailed report of your stats. And what I like about this is that you could download this and use a PDF editor to cut out things you don't want or put things together that you want to show that side-by-side comparison. Okay. Here we've got the bar graph going back basically 20 years to show the ups and downs and to show these trends. Like new listings, usually the beginning of the year, low listings coming on the market, but then by the mid part of the year, we usually hit our peak of people wanting to list. And then as the year starts to end, people start to list less. But here what we can do is look at the things like median sales price and see where we're at today versus where we were at 15 years ago or 20 years ago. And we see here that back in 2007, we were at basically $750,000. Then we bottomed out in Orange County by 2009. And now look at where we're at today, over 1 million. Are you scared of a bubble pop? Well, let's look at inventory. Inventory might say something a little different. Here, the inventory shows us that we are about where we were. And this is interesting. There we go. This isn't right. I know this isn't right. Interesting. Because I know that in 2007, we had more than 12,000 listings in our MLS. Not 5,000. So I know this number is wrong. So I know this chart is incorrect. So I'll have to reach out to CRMLS and of course the other people or in 10K who makes these reports. So I apologize for that. Let's see here real quickly, some questions. So this will be only for Orange County as opposed to the other counties. Yes, the InfoSparks reports that are in InfoSparks. And let's get back to InfoSparks again. Oops, I passed it. InfoSparks, when I go to the FastStats section here, will only break it down by county. It won't break it down by city. So yes, I can access other county one-page reports like San Bernardino. I can even look at Central California and look at Monterey statistical data, but I can't see the individual cities outside of Orange County. That's only available through OC FastStats. Now they do have a monthly indicator report as well, and I can pick the Orange County one report, but pretty much those boards have the same types of reports based on their counties that they're located in, which is nice. And let me double check to see if this one's inventory is just as off. Yeah, for some reason their inventory chart is not correct. Now we do have another one here called the annual report, and we can look at a statewide annual report for all of California, in this case for 2021. And again, this has some amazing charts and graphs to come up with amazing content to talk about for your marketing. Let's see here. Pred asks, can you also email those, or is there an info that we can follow up after the webinar? Yeah, you can email these. Just download the PDF document and then attach the PDF document to an email if you wanted to, Pred. And this is for recorded for you that have attended the class. You could take that recording if you want and share it with your colleagues to work on this. So if you're an office manager or a broker of an office, then by all means, feel free to share that recording if you wish. I also have a recording on my YouTube channel. So if you go to youtube.com, and then from there, do a search for my name. My name is Tony, and we'll get there real quick. The very top here, there should be a search bar. Type in Tony, Tony. My last name is spelled B as in boy, R-I, E as in elephant, D as in dog. And from here, click on my name. And then you can go to my videos. And now you can access all of my videos, one of which is advanced or beyond the basics. Let me see here. Advanced tools, InfoSparks, market statistics. And you can click on watch that video as well. And again, you can share it, do with it as you please. And it's pretty much the same class that we just went over just right now. Let's see here. Pred goes, just for me, I'm an old man, so it's hard to follow all this you're showing. Not to worry, Pred. Again, it's all recorded video. You will get a copy of it. Beautiful thing about a recorded video, you can stop it, you can pause it, you can try out the tool and then go back to the video to watch again. And you can watch it as many times as you want. Does that help, Pred? Are there any other questions about what we showed you today? Excellent. I'm glad. Are there any other questions? Oops. That was for zip forms. There we go. Well, if there are no other questions, I want to thank everybody for attending today. If you want, I can also send you a copy of this presentation. Just shoot me a direct email. My email is Tony, Tony, at OCRealtors, REALTORS.org. And just say you attended the class today and you would like a copy of not only the recording, but of the presentation as well. And I'll be more than happy to email you this presentation, which also goes over how to brand the PDF document on, say, PowerPoint. So if there are any or no other questions, again, here's my information. My phone number is 949-586-6800. My extension is 104, or feel free to email me at Tony, Tony, at OCRealtors.org. And with that said, I want to thank everybody for attending today. And hopefully you start using this information and make yourself stand out amongst everybody else. You're welcome, Ali. Thank you. So much information to know. Thank you for sharing the YouTube. You're welcome, Tina. Anytime. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Will it be posted on YouTube today? Ali, I do have a YouTube video that is already pre-recorded from my last class. So yeah, please, by all means, go there. But you should get, hopefully, the copy of this class today. If not today, hopefully tomorrow, for sure. Thank you very much, Fred. I'm glad that you found this very educational and informative. And the only thing I ask, use it. Don't be afraid to use it. We've had InfoSparks and FastStats now for close to 5 years. And I will say that we have a very, not very many people are using it. I want to say about 1,000 people are using this tool. And I think right now more than ever, especially with the fear of the recession and the way the market's changing, you need to start using tools like this to help make you stand out amongst all the other agents. Okay. Start talking about that data, start showing your expertise in the business and have this information complement you. Okay. All right, everybody. Well, I hope everybody has a great and wonderful day. And I will talk to you all hopefully a little bit later today for our next class, going over how to create property websites using your free member benefit called REALTOR. So with that said, I hope you all have a great and wonderful time. And if I don't see you, much success in your business. Bye-bye.